Anyway, this stem, this part has a little bit of red in it, and I think I got in a bunch that were supposed to have been lady in red. Then when I saw the cresting on it too, I thought, oh, that's going in the garden. I'm not going to sell it.
No. Well, instead of losing but purple foliage, but it's, again, the most icy white with red stamens. It's the most glorious painting, and it always keeps the foliage and the color when it's in bloom. Now it's still like go green by the end. These two clumps are actually from Renata. I can't remember her last name. Wonderful German lady, and she worked in England for one of the famous nurseries in England years and years and years and years ago. But she had Mardi gone wild. She had bought, I think, a white one and a dark, whatever the one.
Was it
red one?
Black Prince?
Black Prince or something,
something.
and let them all go to seed. And she had this immense collection of all these colors. So one of these we named after her, and one's after her husband. There's a dark one and a lighter one that were both really pretty.
Sean Hillis, who owns Garden Slippers, has been very mean to us because he would keep saying, "Oh, you need to look at this new one I got. Oh, you need to look." And having grown tropical orchids and getting away from that for quite a few years, we've had to get our fix somehow with orchids. And so I've been, over the years, buying a few plants. And Sean has some beautiful, good quality cypripediums that do well in our climate. A lot of them he brings in and he overwinters them in the garden, in his little garden, and then sells them the next year. So we've been experimenting to see which ones work well for us in our garden. And so we've got about 6 or 7 different ones that are doing really well.
The ones with Kentuckians and some of the other Asian species don't do as well for us.
For us, yeah. But we know other people who have had good luck with them. So we have them planted under a apple tree. It's a higher 12. So we get the leaf mulch in the winter time, dappled shade in the summertime, good organic soil, and they have just bulked up nicely. But it's every spring I look at his catalog and I want that one and that one and that one. But
this is a really fun fern. You'll have to get the name, Rod.
that's actually a clone or a selection called Victoria, but it's Ethereum Felix Femina Cruciata cristata. It would be the description.
So it's got a crest on the tips, and then it's crossed. Every frond, the foliage is crisscrossed.
Crisscrossed. So that's the Cruciata, and then
It's
cristata.
such a cool thing.
Cresting. So it's a very complex form. And just again, texture, that contrast of textures.
Including the pulmonaria to add a bit of color there. And all the different Transylvanic and Nobilis hepatica leaves. And then the epimediums. Beautiful white.
Some beautiful polemonium here.
Yeah, that's dragon scale. It's got this wonderful dark ridge down each leaf. Dragon scale.
And one of the interesting plants that people would never expect to be a meadow rue or thalictrum is this little guy that's flowering right now. So this is a meadow rue thalictrum, and most people think of them as 4 feet tall, 6 feet tall. But this is a little species from Korea, northern Korea, very cold hardy, but it slowly spreads and makes a nice carpet, and it blooms late spring into early summer. It'll just keep blooming like this, and it's just this little delicate woodland plant that provides interest during a little bit slower period of time.
Cool allium that is only supposed to be 8 inches tall.
Well, no, Allium obliquum is going to be about a foot and a half tall normally. I got the seed from the Devon Botanical Garden years and years ago, and they collected their seed. It was all open pollinated. They just collected seed from the garden. So and that's what. Then they sold it, or didn't? Yeah, they sold it as Allium obliquum. So when this one started growing and it getting taller and taller, and in a good year it's going to be about 5 feet tall, I figured, well, no, it's not obliquum. And so what I figured happened is that it's been cross-pollinated with some other big alliums to get this wonderful, interesting foliage plant, blue-green foliage with twisted leaves. The crook-necked flower heads, they'll stand up straight when it comes into flower, but it's just,
Architectural.
yeah, it's the closest thing we're going to get to bamboo or something.
And again, the peonies, tenuifolia, and smoothie eye, which is a hybrid. This is anemone trifoliata. So three-leafed.
Spring ephemeral, beautiful, pristine white flowers on it. It comes up, flowers, and then the plant will go dormant for the summer, so it'll disappear, and there's other things kind of down in there that'll fill in for the summer. It's a very slow growing anemone. It's not like the anemone sylvestris, which takes over the world. So any of the anemones we have in the garden are much slower, well behaved.
Another little dwarf conifer. If I see it.
Mole. Picea pungens mole.
So blue spruce called mall. Our labels are interesting. We had, because we have so many plants in the garden, and Rod is the computer geek. The Paniote calides from the Denver Botanic Garden turned us onto these labels, and it's Lexan. You buy a sheet of it and get it cut into strips, and then the labels are laser printer on clear plastic labels, and they last for, well, the Lexan lasts almost forever. Sometimes these will peel, but they basically last really well for a long time. And everything's got a code number. Rod's built a database so that everything is in the database and located.